Oh, there you are, YouTube. Do subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. Hey, we are going to do a complete rundown of the Oscar winners that just happened only moments ago. Maybe we'll also talk a little bit about the ceremony. Actually, let's go ahead and start with that before we get to the winners. The ceremony I thought was good. We had Conan O'Brien hosting. I thought he did a very fun job at hosting. He had some good jokes, and I love the way whenever a joke maybe doesn't work for him, he has a way to make that funny itself. So if a joke like lands with a thud, he knows how to make that funny, which was cool. And it seemed like even there were moments where he was sort of planning that or staging that, and that was really cool. He sort of started off very traditionally, just standing there telling jokes, and I was like, I hope he does like a musical number, because this is kind of surprising that he's kind of static right here. The jokes are good, but everything's kind of static. And then what did he do? He hit us with a musical number, which was great. But what also happened, another great thing that happened in the opening, was music from Wicked, and we had Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo sing songs from the history of Oz, basically picking songs from the films that sort of just like make up Oz. It was great, and my daughters got to watch the opening portion. They did have to go to bed; they couldn't stay up for the full thing, but it was just so wonderful to see them experience the opening because they are big Wicked fans. We took them to see that in the movie theater, and they absolutely loved it. So for them to be able to watch Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, like their two biggest heroes right now, just open the Oscar ceremony, something that they know means a lot to us. My wife and I, we are enormous Oscar fans. We used to host very big Oscar parties. That's kind of calmed down, since the kids, but it's just it's always been a big deal to us. So the fact that they could watch it, at least a portion of it with us, was really cool, and for it to be something that they were very invested in as well. They loved it. They had such a great time seeing them perform. They were like in awe. It was beautiful. I really love that. But now, should we get to the actually, I don't know. Let's touch on a couple other things, because the in memoriam, that was very well done. It felt very heavy, actually. We lost so many legends. It was like, wow. And that happens so much anymore. Now that I'm getting older, all these people that I watched when I was a kid, we're seeing them pass. And they did something extra special for Gene Hackman. They had Morgan Freeman come out and talk about their friendship. And then, then they kind of included everybody in the in memoriam, and then ended with Gene Hackman again. And of course, they had a great thing for David Lynch as well, and it was Maggie Smith was in there. Man, it was just so many people, and I'm forgetting so many, and I'm sure they probably did too. I feel like that's something that comes up every Oscars, the people that weren't included in the in memoriam. But yeah, it was very beautiful. It felt very heavy with the music they chose, and very very meaningful portion of the ceremony. But okay, should we get to the? I've taken up like about 4 minutes. So there may be other things that will come to mind that happened during the ceremony that I will bring up. But right now, I think we should get to some of the nomination, or some of the winners. Let's get to the winners, that complete winners list. And this is not going to be in the order fully of the show. So let's start with some of the shorts. And I'll try and remember how I did on these. I don't know. Some of them I'll talk about, like my predictions and guesses and hopes and things like that. Because I kind of, I have a what I wanted to win. I have a what I think will win, and then I have a like what I think deserve to win sort of thing. So documentary short, this one I actually guessed correctly. The Only Girl in the Orchestra won, and that was up against Death by Numbers, I Am Ready, Warden, Incident, and Instruments of a Beating Heart. Next we have animated short, which I got wrong. The winner was In the Shadow of the Cypress. There was also in that category Beautiful Men, Magic Candies, Wander to Wonder, which is what I think I chose. Again, I didn't see any of the shorts, so I was just kind of basing it off of title. And then Yuck. Best live action short, the winner was I'm Not a Robot, which I did not choose. And then Anuha or Anuja, and then The Last Ranger, and then a Lion, I don't know how to say it, sorry. And then The Man Who Cannot Remain Silent, and that was what I picked, but I did not get that one correct. Next we have Best Visual Effects, and the winner was Dune Part 2. I did guess that one correctly. It was up against Alien Romulus. I really did enjoy that film. Also Better Man, one that I did not see. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I would have loved to have seen that one win. I really do love the Planet of the Apes franchise, one of my favorite franchises of all time. And then Wicked, I would have loved to have seen that one win too. I was a big fan of that film. My family loves that one. Next we have Best Cinematography. The winner was Brutalist. I did guess that one correctly, and I think that was a good win. It was also up against Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. I would have also loved to have seen Nosferatu win that. That would have been cool, but there's a noise upstairs. But The Brutalist, I also think was deserving, and that was a correct guess that I had there. Next we have Best Film Editing. Now here things are going to start getting interesting because here, let me go. The winner was Anora. So Sean Baker, he edited the film. He won for Best Editing. It was also up against The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. And once Sean Baker won editing, you knew things were going to clean up. That says that they loved the film because I think he's primarily seen as a director, not necessarily an editor, and so therefore they awarded him. And when they awarded him, it's like, all right, the Academy loved this movie. They loved this movie, and it's gonna do very well tonight. And I think we saw signs of that also with screenplay, which spoilers that one also. But anyway, so that's one Oscar for Sean Baker. Next we have Best Sound. The winner was Dune Part 2, which I did guess correctly. Also, editing, did I guess that one correctly? I believe I did. I think I put that one down. Yes. Or no, did I put Conclave? Honestly, I can't remember what I put down. But anyway, Best Sound winner was Dune Part 2. It was up against A Complete Unknown, Emilia Perez, and Wicked, and A Wild Robot. Now here, I thought the musicals would all split the vote, right? Because we have A Complete Unknown, Emilia Perez, and Wicked, which are all gonna, kind of scatter the vote, the musical vote, right? And then you had Wild Robot, which I think is interesting because you have these very mechanical sounds in the film, and then you also have these nature sounds in the film, and placing those together, is a cool thing. But I did go for Dune Part 2 because I did feel that was a bigger studio movie, and so that would get a lot of votes, and the musical films are going to scatter the vote. So where do you go? You go to sci-fi. And then Dune Part 2, I don't know, it just kind of made sense, but Wild Robot also made sense, but ultimately I went with Dune Part 2, which I think maybe to me feels like a leap because it's a Part 2, but I don't know, just something felt like I should go there. So I did, and I got that one right. Next, we have Best Production Design. That winner was Wicked. I did guess that one correctly. That was an extremely joyous win. I loved that. It also, in the category was The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, which I would have loved to have won, and then Conclave. I thought that had good production design as well. But yeah, I was rooting for Wicked and Nosferatu. I guessed Wicked and that one, so that was good. Best Makeup and Hairstyling. I put down The Substance for that, and that is what won. It was up against A Different Man and Emilia Perez and Nosferatu and Wicked. And I haven't seen A Different Man. I did see Emilia Perez, but I was mostly rooting for The Substance, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I was kind of rooting for all of those. But to see a horror film win was very cool, so that was very exciting to see that win. Next we have Best Costume Design. This was an amazing win. I loved it. I loved the speech and everything, and just the crowd response. It was just very exciting to see this. And Best Costume Design winner was Wicked. That did win, and that is what I had guessed. Nosferatu was also nominated, as was A Complete Unknown, as was Conclave, and Gladiator 2. Next, we have Best Documentary Feature. I did not get this one right. No, I did not. Okay, the winner was No Other Land. It was up against Black Box Diaries, Porcelain War, which is what I guessed, soundtrack to Coup Dietat, and then Sugarcane. That was the one my wife was rooting for. And then, I don't know. I think that would have been a good winner as well. I haven't seen any of these, just kind of, based on previews. But yeah, I went with Porcelain War. That did not win. It was No Other Land. Next, we have Original Score. Here, I was rooting for two of them, and one of the two won. The winner was The Brutalist. I thought that was a wonderful score, so that was really cool to see win. It was also up against Conclave, which I think had one of the greatest scores of the season as well. Used very sparingly, but used very wonderfully. I thought that was so good. And then Emilia Perez, and then Wicked. Love that one too because I love the movie. And then The Wild Robot as well, which I have not seen, but I'm excited to. Best Original Song. I actually got this one wrong. I should have went with. I don't know what I went with. Did I go with my gut? Or did I not go with my gut? I don't really know, but I did not pick El Mal. As I was not marking it down, I was thinking I should be marking this down, but I just didn't do it. I did guess Never Too Late from Elton John's Never Too Late, because, he used to throw those Oscar parties back in the day, and then, I don't know, maybe I thought the controversy surrounding Emilia Perez maybe would hurt it in a couple other areas, so I was going for Elton John. But I don't know, looking back, that probably wasn't a wise idea because, Rocket Man underperformed. I think that movie underperformed at the Oscars. So if that can underperform, then maybe Elton John's Never Too Late cannot win. And plus, El Mal, I like that song. I think it is very good. It's one of the most exciting parts of the entire film. So that was a mistake. And that one is actually the one I was rooting for. That was the song I was rooting for, but for some reason I did not predict it to win. I really thought the controversy might have a little bit more damage to the film, and I just thought they would want to award Elton John just to say, hey, thanks for all the Oscar parties over the years. All right, then we have Best Adapted Screenplay. The winner here, and I believe I picked this one correctly. I think this one was an easy pick, and that was Conclave. Conclave won. And then it was up against a complete unknown, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. Nickel Boys would have been a cool win as well. I have not seen Sing Sing yet. Emilia Perez feels like a 90s sort of thriller film. And then a complete unknown. I liked it, but it also felt pretty, I don't know, standard, but, I'm not a screenwriter. What do I know? Conclave, though, was, I don't know, it was done really well. I don't know. Not a screenwriter, so I don't know, but Conclave's what I would have picked, and did win. All right. I don't know, Nickel Boys would have been a cool one too. Kind of rooting for that one too. All right, next we have Best Original Screenplay. So this is cool here. So the winner was Sean Baker. So that's two for Sean Baker for Anora. And he was up against The Brutalist, Brady Corbett, and Mona Fastvold. And then A Real Pain, Jesse Eisenberg. I was rooting for him, and I thought maybe he could win here because I was sort of thinking maybe they're going to want to spread the wealth a little bit more and not give Anora just like everything. So I was like, if they're going to get rid of something, if they're going to find ways to spread the wealth, maybe they'll do it here for A Real Pain. But the thing is, I thought incorrectly because, I should have been thinking about Kieran Culkin because he was a lock for the win. Spoilers. And, voters, maybe, if they're looking to spread the wealth, they may think they've spread the wealth there with Kieran Culkin. Maybe they don't feel like they need to do that again for Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain. So I did incorrectly do that one because I really didn't think they would give Sean Baker a bunch of Oscars. I thought maybe they would give him a lot, but not all of the ones he was nominated for. Kind of spoilers there. But it was up against The Brutalist, then A Real Pain, Jesse Eisenberg, already said that, and then September 5, and then also The Substance. So yeah, honestly, was there's a huge part of me that was rooting for Sean Baker. So yeah, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So we're at what, two for Sean Baker now? Next we have Best Animated Feature, and the winner was Flow. And this one is another one where I should have went with my gut. This was my second placer. I had this one in second, and I was thinking, this might be the year they give it to an independent film, because you have the two big studios. But I sort of thought the other way here. I thought you have the two big studios, with The Wild Robot and Disney for Inside Out 2. And I was like, those two are massive companies. Maybe they can get enough force to vote for them. But I also knew as I was voting, but I didn't go with this. I also thought those two enormous studios could split the vote and allow flow to flow through and win. And that's what happened. And I wish I would have went with my gut, because that was an instance where, as I was marking Wild Robot, I was like, I'm getting this wrong, but I'm going for it anyway, because it was like the bigger film. You heard so much about it, heard great things about it, so I was like, maybe it will happen there. But it didn't. Flow one. So I was very excited for that. In a big way, I was rooting for that, because it's this independent, I believe, yeah, I mean, independent film from, where'd they say, Latvia? So yeah, Flow won that one. Next we have Best International Feature. The nominees were Flow again, which was nominated for. So we had a lot of international films here. Flow, and then The Seed, which was from Latvia, and then The Seed of the Sacred Fig, which was from Germany, and then Emilia Perez, which was from France, and then The Girl with the Needle, which is from Denmark, and then I'm Still Here from Brazil, and I'm Still Here won. So I would totally, and that's what I marked down. That was what I predicted. I would totally understand if somebody predicted Emilia Perez, because when you think of how many nominations it got, what was it, like 13 or something? That's like a huge number of nominations. It makes sense to vote for that, because if it's like, well, it got all these nominations in these categories, these people may also vote for it for Best International Feature, so that makes sense. I'm Still Here and Emilia Perez both got Best Picture nominations, but here's the thing, you also got to consider maybe some of the controversy surrounding Emilia Perez, maybe turn down some of those votes, and I don't know, that's kind of where my mind was at when I was like, I'm Still Here. So, voted for it, and it did win. Or didn't vote for it, but I guessed it. All right, next we have Best Director. Best Director, and that in the categories here, we had James Mangold for Complete Unknown, Coralie Far, I don't remember how to say it, Fargiet for The Substance, Brady Corbet or Corbett for The Brutalist, and then Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez, and Sean Baker for Anora. And who won? Here I did predict Sean Baker, and Sean Baker did win. I would totally get it if you thought Brady Corbett was going to win, or Corbet. But yeah, Sean Baker won. And where are we at now? We're at three. Three wins for Sean Baker. Interesting. Interesting. Could he win another? Could he get four? Let's wait and see, and see what that means. So, Best Director, Sean Baker there. Very happy for him. Now let's get into Best Supporting Actor. This was the first award of the night that was handed out, if I recall correctly. And the winner was Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. He just, cakewalked this to this win. He probably knew he was winning a long time ago, because it was just, he dominated this. This was the most sure thing out of everything. But it was him. And then Yura Borisov for Anora, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, who I did like in that movie, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. I don't know, he felt a little campy compared to everything else in the movie. And then Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, a film I did not see. Kieran Culkin won, and I thought he did a wonderful job. Do you call him a co-lead? Do you think this is category fraud? I'd like to know. Or when you have co-leads, do you see them both as supporting actors? Because if you do, I understand that. If they're co-leads, are they both supporting? Hmm? Or are they both lead? Where do you go with that? Lead to me kind of seems like one, but I don't know. Next, we have Best Supporting Actress, and that went to Zoe Saldana, and that was just wonderful to see. I love her so much. Big fan of hers. Just happy to see her get those flowers, get that win. That was wonderful. I remember first seeing her in a movie. I think it was called Center Stage. It was a ballet movie. I remember James Franco was in it. I remember that dude from While You Were Sleeping with the bushy eyebrows. He was in it. I think that was the first time I ever saw her, and then she just became this sci-fi queen, just like dominating the sci-fi world with Guardians of the Galaxy and Avatar and Star Trek, and I think she has a couple other things. It's just like so awesome, and I just love her, and I was just so happy to see her win. Other people that were up for that award were Monica Baravo for A Complete Unknown for playing Joan Baez, Ariana Grande for Wicked, which I thought she was great, but is she a co-lead? Is she, even if are co-leads supporting? What do you think? But yeah, I thought she was great. She was probably I was rooting for Ariana Grande as well here, and then Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, very much a supporting role and a good one, and then Isabel Rossellini, very supporting here, and that was for Conclave. So winner Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, and again that song, what was it called, En Mal, that she does that part right there, like she's so good in it. I love that part. I think she's really good in the film. Next, we have Best Actor. This one sort of became a toss-up after SAG between Adrien Brody and Timothée Chalamet, because Adrien Brody was winning awards, and then Timothée Chalamet comes in with the Screen Actors Guild Award, which is the voting body are actors, and obviously I think the largest voting body in the Academy are actors. So if those are actors, you think maybe they will also vote for Timothée Chalamet, but you also need to remember that there are a lot of young actors in SAG, and those awards I think always skew a little bit more hip and young rather than towards gravitas. There's obviously crossover, but I understand Timothy's win with the SAG because I just see a lot of young actors that just got their SAG cards that are around his age and younger are gonna vote for him. But I was so okay. I guess I'll tell you some of the others that were there. So we had Adrien Brody, Timothée Chalamet, Coleman. Domingo, and then Rafe Fiennes, and then Sebastian Stan. And Adrien Brody did win this, and I thought that was very exciting. He had a very long speech, but I was very happy to see that because he is the youngest actor to ever win the award for Best Actor when he won for The Pianist all those years ago. And here he is winning again, and I just thought that was wonderful because it is sort of validation that he did not peak too soon, that he was not a one-hit wonder, and I feel like he sort of talked about this a little bit in his speech, alluded to that, that maybe those fears were within him. And I just thought it was so great that all these years he can come back and knock a performance straight out of the park in The Brutalist. I thought he did a wonderful job. He was so good in it. And then there he was winning the award tonight. I was just incredibly happy for him that he wasn't a flash in the pan. This guy is a legit great actor. And you can already know that about a person, but it's just cool when they get that statue, especially somebody who won, who is the youngest. He is the youngest to have that award. And here he is, here he is all these years later. What is he, in his late 40s? Is he 50 yet? I don't know. Okay, so now, here we go. Where am I at? Did I do director? Yes. Did I? I can't remember if I did director. Did I skip director? I don't think so, but let me, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, so I did. Sean Baker did director. Okay, next we have, we did supporting actress, we did actor. Let's go to best actress. So, people in the category: Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here, and that was a international film and a best picture nominee, so there's definitely support behind that. And then we have The Substance, Demi Moore in The Substance. And she won the Golden Globe and gave one of the best speeches I've ever heard on that stage, which sometimes speeches can propel you and take you a little farther for that Oscar win, right? And then she won at the SAG Awards as well. She did not win the BAFTA, though. But yeah, it was just starting to feel like, maybe Demi Moore has got this. Also in the category, Carla Sofia Gascon, and that was for Amelia Perez, and then Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, wonderful, wonderful, amazing performance, and then Mikey Madison for Anora. So it was basically between Mikey Madison and Demi Moore, and then maybe people, I would get it if people thought Fernanda as well. But here's the thing. The winner was Mikey Madison, and that actually kind of bummed me out. Very happy for her because I do like the film Anora, and I think Sean Baker's doing great things for film and championing movie theaters and independent film and all of that, and physical media. And I think he's wonderful. So I was very happy for that. And Demi Moore did not win. That's who I wanted to win. That's who I was rooting for. That's also who I was predicting. But I also knew this was a toss-up. 50-50 toss-up is how I felt about it anyway. Maybe it was very clear win for Mikey, but it felt like a toss-up because of the SAG win. That'll do that. Did she win the SAG? Why am I second guessing that now? Let's think. Why can't I remember that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was zoned out there for a second. Not zoned out, but I don't know. Couldn't place it. Anyway, here we go. So yes, so I don't know. I started feeling like Mikey was going to win when Sean Baker kept winning. He just kept winning. Boom, boom, boom. He had those three, and then when he wins for editing, I was just like, oh dang, this is gonna be an Anora night, which is cool because I love the movie. I think it's one of the best in the bunch. But I was like, I'm a little worried for Demi now, and I was right to be worried. All right, so she won. Bummed about it, but happy for her. Does that make sense? Bummed for Demi Moore because I don't know if that's going to happen again. Also, it was horror. That would have been an amazing win. Also, just think about it. What's that movie about? The Substance. Replacing the old with the young. And what happened here? Demi Moore did not win. Who won? The young. Like very, it's weird and it's just kind of funny, I guess. Is that the right word? That happened. She got passed over for somebody younger, just like that happens in the movie The Substance. So, I don't know. I was really hoping Demi would come out on top there for so many different reasons. She had that great speech. Okay, but now let's get to Best Picture here. So, I think I got alphabetical order here. We have Anora. We have The Brutalist, then A Complete Unknown, followed by Conclave. After Conclave, we have Dune Part 2, then Amelia Perez, then I'm Still Here, followed by The Nickel Boys, and then The Substance, and finally, Wicked. Here, I think it could have been Conclave because of the SAG Ensemble win, and Anora. I don't know about The Brutalist. I think that was just kind of like a hopeful thing for a lot of people. But really kind of, the SAG win for Conclave and thinking of, the older gentleman in that movie and how they have a lot of friends. And that's another thing I was thinking for Demi. She's made a lot of friends over the years. But yeah, I could have seen a Conclave win here, but the one I guessed did win, and that was Anora. And you know what that is? That is Oscar number 4 for Sean Baker. Sean Baker has 4 of these statues right here, and he just tied the record for most Oscars won in a season. The only other person to do that, or the last person to do that, I think the only other person to do that is this man right here, Walt Disney. The last person to do that, was Walt Disney. And then you know who did it next? Sean Baker. You know why that's awesome? You know why that's awesome? I'll show you why that's awesome. Let me show you why that's awesome. I'll be right back. Here we go. That is awesome. That is awesome because of this. This is a Sean Baker movie. Sean Baker made this. It's called The Florida Project. You know where this title comes from? It's not because of like the like Florida housing projects or something like that. The Florida Project is what Walt Disney called Walt Disney World. That was like its sort of secret code name. Not secret code name because he used that term openly on his show.
The most exciting, the most important part of our Florida project, in fact, the heart of everything we'll be doing in Disney World will be our experimental prototype city of tomorrow. We call it Epcot.
But that is what the building of Walt Disney World was. And Epcot and all of that was the Florida Project. Walt Disney has 4 Oscars and a Florida Project sitting in Orlando right now. And Sean Baker, right here, has 4 Oscars and made a movie called The Florida Project as well. I think that is amazing that these 2 dudes with 4 Oscars, the most recent person to have it was Walt Disney. The current person to have it is Sean Baker, to win 4 Oscar statues in a single ceremony. That's awesome. And for both of you to have Florida projects, very cool. Make sure I'm right on that stat. I could be wrong. Is that right? Is it Walt Disney? What if I'm totally wrong on that? I'm just like, yeah. Because a lot of people may say Bong Joon-ho, but remember, he won Best International Film, and that Oscar does not go to him. That's not his Oscar. That's South Korea's Oscar. So, not him. He held 4 Oscars that night, but one of them was not his. So, super happy for Sean Baker. I just think that's a cool stat, that it was Walt Disney, then him, and they both have Florida projects. I'm very bummed that Demi Moore didn't win. Kind of upset about Jesse Eisenberg, but taking him out for that cool Sean Baker 4 statue win is very awesome. I don't know. I think it was a good year. I think maybe they could have spread the wealth a little bit more. But at the same time, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Here's the thing. A lot of these movies did get wins. You know, let's go through the best picture. Anora, it got wins. The Brutalist, it got wins. A Complete Unknown did not get wins. Although, I don't know if I would have given it any. So, I guess I agree. Conclave. What did it win? It did win something. Right? Yeah, oh yeah, screenplay. So it won. Dune 2 won. Emilia Perez won. I'm Still Here won. Nickel Boys did not win. And that was a very good movie. I did like that. And then The Substance won. And then Wicked won. So, you know, all of those got something except for A Complete Unknown. So, you know, not bad for spreading the wealth. I think I'm just... Because the movies that... The wins that I would have liked to have seen, those movies got their flowers somewhere else. So there's that. It's just... I really like Jesse Eisenberg, and I think it would have been cool if he won. But again, I like the Anora Project, or sorry, I do like that movie, the Anora Project. I like Anora. I like Sean Baker winning 4. That is such a cool thing to me. And then, again, Demi Moore. Demi Moore is, I think, the one that hurts me the most. That one's the saddest to me. That one kind of sucked the air out of the room as we were watching. Speaking of, as we were watching on Hulu, and the show cut out early, so we had to finish it like on YouTube. We had to like find people who uploaded it on YouTube, and that's how we watched it. The last So that's how we watched Best Picture, and that's how we watched Mikey Madison win. It was kind of it was scary because we had to scramble to find those because Hulu just like cut out. They were like, this is ended, and I was like, what, why? So anyway, what did you think? I thought it was good. I like Conan. Let's give him a contract to keep doing this. Let's see what other absurd things he can do. I'd like to see him go a little bit farther. It was cool to see a lot of the presenters. I like that opening montage where they highlighted LA. When they brought the firefighters out, that was really good. And then the jokes that were written, those were really funny. The way those were presented was good. Ben Stiller is one of the best presenters at the Oscars of all time, I feel like. He is so funny whenever he does it. And I love it. I love Ben Stiller at the Oscars. Maybe he would be a good host. He might be a good host. I think he's great. I know he's probably got his mind on other things now with Severance and stuff, but I love anytime we find out he's going to be at the Oscars. It's great. I don't know. I'm probably missing some. Oh, the James Bond was awesome. I did love that. That was cool. Live and Let Die is like I think my favorite James Bond song. At least when Guns N' Roses sings it. But anyway, I thought that was really good. They did a tribute to James Bond. They should have done that while all the James Bonds were still alive and brought them out. Like, what was that, the 50-year anniversary of Bond or something? And they didn't bring everybody out, and they were all alive still. They should have like spent every buck possible to make that happen. Anyway, I'd love to know what you thought of the ceremony. How did you think Conan did? What do you think of the wins? How are your predictions? How are your wants? Your hopes? Who are you rooting for? I'd love to know all of that. Thank you so much. We'll talk in the comments, and I appreciate you watching, especially if you made it all the way to, what are we at, 36 minutes and 30 seconds. I appreciate that so much, and perhaps we'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.